Hello, everybody. It is your Uncle Fish back again for School Fish Art Stream. J-Man wants a Gatling gun on the end of his tail. Oh my goodness. J-Man says the tail's where you put all the heavy artillery. Yeah. Said he used to have a howitzer on the end of his tail. Hello. Good morning, everybody. It is your ever-loving Uncle Fish back again for the School of Fish Patreon-only art stream on Thursday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central for some of us. I am trying it a little bit differently this time. I'm trying a different format, mainly because I wanted to try it out because it's a pain trying to edit a horizontal video into vertical clips to put on TikTok later, and I can't end up getting everything I want on the page at one time. So I'm going to try it out this way and see how it goes. If it's a big pain in the butt and everybody hates it, you can let me know and I can change it. But I figured I'd give it a shot, see how it goes this time around. Anyway, been a busy week, been getting lots of stuff done. I may or may not have just finished the inks on the Mighty Caw 2, which I'm pretty excited about. All right, Sarah's in the house. Good morning, Sarah. Good to see you. So I may have just finished the inks on Caw 2. I'm going to give it a second and look at it because I don't want to make it super complicated on that last page because there's a whole lot going on. But I may be done with it. And so I'm going to give it a second look at it. And now I just got to color it and get it out. Not bad so far, just weird. Yeah, it's different, but I don't know. I got to start making some changes, and like I've started using this AI program, Opus Clip, which will take like long form videos, and it'll use the AI to chop it down and edit it into short clips, and it'll put like the voiceover, like the captions and stuff on it for you, and I've tried it out a couple of times and it gives you really good clips and it gives you like written out descriptions and stuff to go with it about what you're talking about. And it's saving me a whole lot of time because I don't have time to edit these down. Like I've got 50 of these saved that I supposedly was supposed to edit and cut down. I've only done like 3 of them because I just don't have time to do it and get everything else done. And I keep trying to pay my kids to edit it down and they keep saying, yeah, sure, and then not wanting to do it. So I've been putting off using this program, and I tried it out. It's working pretty good. And I was talking with my therapist yesterday about it, and I was like, yeah, I should just go ahead and pay for the full version so that it'll do it better for me. But like, I keep hoping my kids are gonna step up and help me out because they keep saying they will, but they never do. And I'm like, I can keep waiting for something that's never going to happen, or I can just go ahead and pay for the tool that will do it for me and save me a lot of time and cut these clips down into better used videos that I can get better use out of. And so I'm going to try that. And part of that, I wanted to try out this one since it's just us friends in the vertical format, see how that goes, because it'll make editing it down for Facebook and TikTok videos a whole lot easier. So we'll see. Fingers crossed it works. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Kind of surprised it's just Sarah in the house this morning. I wonder where old Katie is. She's probably out saving the world or scything the backyard, one or the other. Like a Katie will do. All right, let's see. I was hoping to work on Pages of Caw, but like I said, I finished the inks yesterday. And I haven't sent any of the pages off to my flatter yet, which I need to do. I've just been like waiting to scrape up a couple of cents so that I could do it. Let's see. We're going to go with this one there. So let's see. We can see the fishy and we can see the comments and we can see the page a little bit. I think I'm going to drop the chats off for a second right now so that it's a better image of just us. There we go. We'll see how that goes. I'm hoping that I've angled the camera well enough that you can still kind of see me while I'm working and not just see the top of my bald head. But I did shave it for y'all, so it's nice and pretty. Got the razor out and everything. So y'all see me all sexy on top of my head. Don't get carried away, sir. Don't get overexcited now. I'm a married man. But glad Kyron's taking the kids to school or he'd be all riled up in here. Be a excited ball of passion at my big bald head. You know them one percenters and bald heads. Jeff Bezos got a full head of hair. He just decided to go bald so he'd look more like Fishy. Sarah says that Katie was sending her horse pictures earlier, so I'm sure she'll be here shortly. Good. It just ain't the same without Katie around. It ain't the same without Sarah around. That's why I've been sending her the link. Gotta have a little Sarah in your day every day. Man, Kyron, he's a sneaky one. You got that right. You know them one percenters, man. They be doing anything to make a buck. I love picking on Kyron. And mainly I love picking on Kyron because he loves stirring up crap so much. It's fun to give it back. I love this dude right here, Harley, because he is exactly what I imagined I would be when I grew up. There's this old gray grizzled biker dude who's sweet as could be. Like he's a great guy. He's just, just a scary looking biker dude. And I totally thought that was who I was going to be when I grew up. Like I totally expected to still have the freaking mohawk and everything right now. Sarah says it wouldn't be so much fun picking on Kyron if he wasn't such a good sport about it. Yeah, it's not fun picking on somebody if they go getting their feelings hurt and everything. But Kyron likes stirring up the trouble. As the good book says, if thou shalt stir this up, thou shalt be able to take it as well, or thou shalt not giveth. I have to be careful when I make jokes like that because every once in a while, like I only say it when it feels to me like it's so ridiculous nobody's going to believe what I said. But every once in a while, someone will be like, "Where does it say that?" Like it doesn't say that. Exactly. What book is that? I need to give that to pretty much every male in my family. Yeah, I will quote stupid stuff all the time. Well, as a good book says, if thou shalt moveth thy meat, thou shalt loseth thy seat. And most of the time, everybody knows that I'm being ridiculous. But every once in a while, somebody's like, where does it say that? Like it doesn't. I'm being silly. Good morning, PJ. Glad you can make it to the show. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Pull up a chair. Hope the new format doesn't bug you too much, but I'm trying something out, see how it goes. Mainly because I want to make this easier to edit later. I was just telling old Sarah that I wrapped up inks, I believe, on the Mighty Car 2. Kind of excited about that. I need to send them off to the flatter, but money's been tight as of late. TikTok shop has been going real well, but the problem is it takes a while to pay out, like a lot of corporate gigs and stuff do. Like, I know dudes that work for Marvel that, 60 days out from when they did their book and from when the book was published, they're still fighting trying to get paid. Um, and there's a delay on the TikTok payments, especially in the beginning until you get established, mainly to account for the fact that they're offering like an Amazon level return policy. So, should somebody get your book and or whatever it is you're selling and want to return it, it's a lot easier on TikTok to just let them return it and not pay you for it than to pay you the money early and then try and get that money back from you, because nobody's going to want to give that back, or not easily. It would be more of a hassle for TikTok that way, and they're trying to make it as easy on everybody as they can. And they definitely are going for, like I said, that Amazon level of, oh yeah, you didn't want it when you bought it, okay, fine, you can return it, no problem, no questions asked. But that also leaves you with having a delay before you actually get paid for everything. And like, especially in the beginning, like once that, it took 2 weeks for those first payments to start coming in. Now it's down to a week after they receive it, but still, like, by the time those first payments got in, all the bills were due and all that money disappeared automatically. So, been waiting a minute to stock up a little bit of money from work and sales and whatnot. And I got just enough money in the bank to be able to take my wife to lunch today and probably pay Shane to flat a few pages for me. Speaking of old PJ and websites and whatnot, how's things going on the website, man? If you need anything from me, I'm around to help out. I was talking through a bunch of my business stuff with my shrink yesterday because I'm a firm believer in, like, like, I'm not in any emotional distress or anything, but I'm a firm believer in having a therapist just for like regular maintenance stuff, and like, you know, be able to talk through potential fights with the wife, or or like the kid said something that really hurt my feelings or whatever, and deal with that stuff regularly. Have somebody on the outside that you can talk that stuff through with, and not just be all trapped in your own head with it. And a big part of what we do is talk through decisions and stuff as I'm making them, and things that I'm thinking about. It's nice to have somebody else that you can run this by and not just have your own little echo chamber in your head going off with all the things that you're worried about that, like, technically, that you're not responsible for. Yeah, I forever catch myself worrying about things that are not my business to handle. But that's just the way I am. I act like I'm responsible to keep everybody happy or something, and that's not my. I couldn't do it if that was my job. But lucky for me, it's not my job. But it's nice to have somebody to remind me of that from time to time, because sometimes I'll forget and think it is my job again, and it's not. Yep, curse of being an empath. And so we were talking about my business stuff, and really, really was beneficial in helping me talk through some things and helping me make real plans of how to cope with some of this stuff. Like, you know, everybody that knows me knows that I haven't been sleeping well. And, part of that is just so many things on my mind. It's not the only thing, but, part of that's having so many things on my mind. And so she helped me walk through like some actual smart real world ways of putting some things in place to help me get those things out of my head and like onto paper so I didn't have to waste the processor power trying to keep it active in my brain so I didn't forget about it. And like I have a board by my chair where I do most of my work, and I write down the jobs and stuff on there that need to be done, and I can move these little dry erase. It's a magnetic dry erase board, and then it has these little magnetic rectangles on it, like little rectangular post-it notes, sort of that are magnetic, that I can write on, and I can move those little pucks around into whatever order works best for right now. If the order of importance of something changes, I can move those little pucks around, and that's worked out really well for me. But the problem with it is a lot of the things I put on there don't change very fast. Like, finish Caw 2. That's not something I can do in a day. That's something that, takes a couple of weeks for me to finish. So that doesn't change very quickly. So, and some of the things on that board are regular maintenance things that I need to do, like send out stuff to Patreon backers, or, stuff for the Kickstarter that's still gonna, be a minute to get finished or whatever. Some of those things take a long time to get finished. And because they don't change very often, I'll get in the habit of not checking the board, which is a bad thing. And I'll get in the habit of not updating the board. And then there's new things that come up, and I'm not fixing those things. I'm not putting them on there. I'm keeping them in my mind, thinking about them, wasting energy when I could be doing something else. And so, the problem is the board works, but I'm not checking it every day. So we talked through it for a minute, and she helped me realize, it would be a good idea to make a reminder on my Amazon based AI assistant. I don't want to say her name and set off everybody else's assistant, but put a reminder on her every morning to say, hey, you need to check your calendar and you need to check the board. And it went off this morning, and I was like, oh, yeah, I need to check my calendar and I need to check the board. And because I also get in the habit of not checking my calendar very often. Like during a Kickstarter, there's so many things going on every day, and so many interviews and stuff that I got to do, that I check my calendar every morning. But then after that's over, and I don't have stuff every single day that has to be, done, I get out of the habit of checking it. So I think that'll be a big help. But we were talking through stuff like that, and we talked through like my Patreon account, because I was like, man, it doesn't seem to be taking off very well. And it definitely hasn't gotten the kind of backing that I was hoping, and I'm very grateful for everybody that has backed it. Absolutely. I really appreciate those that have. It means the world. And I absolutely get it for those that haven't been able to back it because, times are tight. Like, I'm barely squeezing by right now. I get it. Absolutely. And then if something happens that takes away all kinds of pay you're waiting on, like, sir, then that sucks. And so for a minute there, I was like, maybe it's just time to let it go and, say, well, I tried and that's okay. And we were talking through it. And then I realized in the process of talking through it, like, I've only made like maybe 5 posts about my Patreon. And I'm like, it is nobody's fault but my own that nobody has found out about it except like some of my closest friends because I haven't been advertising it. It's nobody's fault but my own. So, in having somebody else to talk through it, because from my own point of view, I was like, well, I'm kind of sad that it didn't get the turnout that I expected. It's bringing me in a little bit of regular income every month for not a whole lot of hard work, but which is all great stuff. But I was like, I really was hoping to get more supporters on it so I could relax and let the subscription to my comics be my main source of income and know that I could count on this many books going out a month and, this many people that backed at the commission level to get, a pinup or a variant cover or something every month for the handful of people that, want that much work from me. And but it's nobody's fault but my own that it hasn't got more attention because I haven't been sharing it. I haven't been shouting it out. I had all kinds of ideas for videos and stuff I was going to make about it, but it doesn't do any good if you don't actually make those videos. But it was easy to get caught up in my own head and being, a little disappointed in the outcome and not think about it logically as, yeah, I haven't advertised it. So instead of quitting, I have decided to invest some more time in advertising it, getting it out there, and see how that does before I make any decision about quitting. But I absolutely would love to be able to move over to my own website before long and be able to send people over there to back me instead of Patreon and keep it all in one confined place. PJ says I'm super ADHD, so when I set an alarm, I'm good at doing what it is reminding me to do for maybe 4 or 5 days. I've gotten really good about using those alarms to my advantage, um, which really surprised me because I absolutely expected to do that. I expected for it to work for a hot minute and then get sidetracked and forget all about it. But like one of the first things I did was set reminders for things that I absolutely needed, like reminding me to take my pills every day at 2 o'clock, or reminding me to take my pills in the morning. And uh, I'm real bad about like if I just sit down and start scrolling my phone and got the news playing in the background and I'm just scrolling my phone in the mornings. I am really bad about looking up and all of a sudden it's noon and I haven't done anything but sit there and scroll my phone because I got lost in the scroll and, you know, got hyper focused on that and didn't do anything else. So I set myself a reminder every morning that it's time to eat breakfast and get to work, because I also like wouldn't have eaten in that time because why? I'm scrolling the phone. I don't realize time's passing. And so I set myself a reminder to eat breakfast and take my meds. And that was such a benefit for me. And it goes off every day. And I do that every day. So it got me in the habit of listening to it. Though, admittedly, sometimes it just turns into background noise, and sometimes it'll go off, and I don't realize it was talking to me. Or occasionally I will hear it, and then I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I need to do that in a second, but I'm going to finish this panel real quick." And then, like 3 pages later, it's bedtime, and I forgot to take my meds occasionally. Uh, PJ says, I'm working on it. I have more gaps in knowledge than I thought, so it's taking me longer, but I refuse to give up. Talking about the website. I appreciate it. Sarah says she's feeling attacked. Never. Not my Sarah. She's one of my favorite Sarahs. I would say you're my all-time favorite Sarah, but your name's not unique enough. I got a lot of Sarahs that are huge blessings in my life. So that's it's a pretty elite group you're in there, honestly. All the Sarahs in my life are pretty awesome people. So you're lucky you measure up, because that's tall order. Like, I ain't got but the one PJ in my life. I have another Phil. He's my cousin. Doesn't take much to beat him. But like Sarah's, that's a tall order. Katie's, there ain't a whole lot of Katie's in my life either. So, Katie's my favorite Katie because like there's only a couple and she's way more awesome than the others. Glad you're here, Katie. Good morning. On your way to plant trees or rescue dogs or dig a new fjord or something. I know Scotland isn't really known for its fjords, but I like the word. And you're close enough. You're in that part of the general world, so I can say my favorite word because I just love fjord. What is it over there, Katie? Afternoon, I'm guessing? Because, you're driving, so you should absolutely stop and text your answers to a silly little art stream. My curiosity is far more important than your automotive safety. Pshaw. I think what most people are missing out on the School of Fish art stream is that they just don't realize how goofy I get on this. They're like, oh, that's just old fish. He's a good old fella and he's encouraging and all, but they don't realize just how goofy I get on here. Only the real ones know just how weird I can get on this show. The PJs, the Katies, if you will, the Sarahs of the world. They know how weird it gets off in here. And they keep coming back for more. 4:30 p.m. over there in Scotland. Says young Katie. Just about to drive, she says. Good. We're not taking our eyes off the road yet. So everybody pay attention. In about 15 minutes, we need to ask Katie all the questions. I know I'm drawing fingers that aren't going to show up because I know the caption box is going to be here. But I can't not draw his fingers. The fingers. How's the boy going to fing if he doesn't have any fingers? That just ain't right. How you going to have your nondescript henchman out there with no fingers, completely unable to fing anything? It's no good. Wouldn't be prudent. Gotta give him the fingers. I'm gonna get myself banned for giving people the fingers. But it wasn't like that, I said. We don't care, said YouTube. Told people you were giving them the finger. I said, well, yeah, on their hands. You were giving them the whole hand, YouTube said in disgust. Hashtag not on my watch. Hashtag squad goals. Oh, I haven't ticked that one in a long time. And for anybody watching the edited version of this in TikTok or a short later on, Uncle Fishy has Tourette syndrome. Not just a weirdo that yells out random things for no reason. I mean, I am, but I also happen to have Tourette syndrome. So some of them are unintentional. Hashtag squad goals. Hashtag feel the burn. I don't know where half this stuff comes from. A lot of it, oh man, so many of my ticks come from like stupid stuff I picked up as a kid from old movies or whatever. But like sometimes it will just be the most random stuff that comes out. I have random things, but I don't have Tourette's. I'm just a weirdo, says BJ. My favorite kind of does are the weirdos. Doe! A deer. See, that's what I get for stopping on dough. Another tick. I'm trying to zoom out and remember how big this guy is. Okay, he's a little bit bigger than my pinky nail. His face is probably about the size of my thumbnail, so he can get a little bit of detail in it. I try to keep in mind because it's easy to get lost in the Zoom and not realize that you're putting way too much effort into something that nobody's ever going to be able to see those details. Like on one commission I did, one caricature I did this whole family drawn doing all their favorite things. Oh my goodness, the lights make me look so beautiful. I look like I got a filter on. Oh my goodness, I'm gorgeous, y'all. Look at my eyelashes. I'm so pretty. Anyway, sorry, I quit looking at my beauty. Uh, I was doing this caricature of this whole family, and whole family's lined up. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and I'm in there doing all the little like purplish shadows underneath the top eyelid and stuff, putting little shines in their irises and all this stuff. All the great details. And I zoomed out, and then I printed it, and their eyes were about the size of the tip of my stylus right there. You couldn't see any of that detail. You could see they had eyes. That was it. You could tell it was an eye. That was it. You couldn't see any of the detail I put in. And that's when I realized, yeah, I need to be a lot more careful with that zoom. I am pretty though. Oh my goodness. I look 20 years younger. Too bad I look 20 years older than I looked a year ago. Nothing makes you feel better than posting a video from like, on TikTok from, this time last year and your wife saying, "Oh my god, what happened to you?" That makes you feel good. Well, thank you, honey. You look beautiful too. But in reality, the thing that really killed me is my beard went a whole lot grayer. Like it used to be really dark, and I used to have darker stripes in it than I do now. And it just, the whole thing went whiter. And that alone makes me look a whole lot older real quick. No, that makes her look like she's got a mustache. Man, drawing kids is hard. Like getting it to look like a kid is easy. Hitting that like this looks like an 8-year old and not a 12-year old, or you know, a 5-year old and not a 7-year old. That is so hard because I just don't do it enough and haven't studied enough to have it implanted in my head like what shortcuts make somebody look like that. Making somebody look like they're in middle school as opposed to high school is tough. And then, like, as an artist, as a comic book artist, particularly, I'm already kind of worried about being on a watch list for all the weird things that I search for as it is. That, like, when I was doing T Man and Hyper Strike, and I suddenly got all these middle school girls in the book to be friends of the main character, Maya. And I'm like, I don't know what middle school girls wear to school. Like, what's their back to school fashion look like? I don't really know because up until recently, I didn't have a daughter. And so I had never really had to think about it. And I didn't just want to stick everybody in, a t shirt and jeans. So I was like trying to think of like, how do I search for what middle school girls would wear to school without getting myself on a watch list and having to answer a bunch of questions from the FBI. And so what I hit on was searching for, you know, middle school girl back to school fashions. And I got a bunch of like sale ads and stuff pop up with, back to school deals on clothes and, had a bunch of girls dressed up in cute outfits and, interesting backpacks and whatnot. And I took ideas from that and created my own looks off of that. 'Cause I was also like, I didn't really know like where is the line like from where you go from wearing like, t-shirts with puppies and kittens to, when you start wearing band t-shirts and, stuff like that, like when does that change? I didn't really know because I hadn't had a daughter do that before. My daughter now, I got her in high school, so she was already wearing cool clothes and stuff by the time I got her. But that's long after T-Man and Hyperstrike anyway. Long story short, searching for back to school fashion was the answer. I may still be on a watch list somewhere, but it's not for that, or at least it shouldn't be. That's the one thing about using this tablet that I I keep wanting to take my stylus and flip it around and erase like I can on my Surface Pro tablet, and on this Wacom I can't. Or it's not a Wacom, it's a XP Pen. Sorry, I don't want to say that. Mainly because this is the style of device, but it's not a Wacom. Um, anyway, I like everything about it, but I got to click the little button on the side to turn it to an eraser to erase, and then I always forget to turn that back off, and then I end up erasing what I just drew. And then I have to undo and go back and fix that. Don't get lost in the details, Fishy. Nobody's going to see that. Doesn't matter if she's got the accurate type of spikes on. Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know. They're going to know. Nobody's going to know. They're going to. Somebody will know and they can complain. And I'll be like, yeah, right. And they'll be like, why didn't you fix it? And I'll be like, because I knew one person would be all that noticed. PJ says, I'm probably on a watch list for all the internet security stuff I've been looking up, just trying to figure out what is the most secure and cost effective. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. And like, as a writer and stuff, like you're always like searching for the weirdest things that, seem horrible when taken out of context. Like homemade poisons or whatever, like trying to come up with ideas for like, how could somebody do whatever it is you need them to do in the story. And I also saw this AI image reader that can detect adult images and stop them from being uploaded. Something I really want to check out for the. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I was talking earlier on the show. I don't know if you were here for it. One of the things I was talking about with my shrink, oddly enough, was this AI software I'd seen advertised, and I had um, tried out once or twice, and it you can upload your long form videos, like I can upload my art streams to it, and it will go through and automatically find and edit down great clips, and I can tell it like how long I want the clips to be and stuff, and it will find cool clips that will probably do well on social media and edit those down to a minute or 3 minutes or whatever I want it to be. And it will even add in all the uh, captions and stuff for me. And it does the cool captions, like it will light up certain words and uh, it'll put in little emojis and icons and things in places to accent what you're saying. It's really cool. And like, I would much rather pay one of my kids to edit the videos and, you know that they're going to find the kind of clips that I really want. And I could tell them exactly what little stories to look for and edit it. And they would do a better job of cutting out all of the ums and likes and dead spaces, and they could edit down what I'm saying to make it quick and concise, and then have the time lapse of the art just running, so that you would see more artwork than I get done in the amount of time of that story. Things like that that I would rather be able to pay my kids to do. And all of my kids are like, "Oh yeah, I'd be happy to. Yeah, no problem." And then when you ask them to do it, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm busy. I don't really feel like it." Paying real money? Oh, I'm good. Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. I don't get butthurt about it, but they're teenagers. They have teenage priorities. Nothing wrong with that. That's what they should be doing right now. But you know, it would be nice to have the help. But I could either sit around and pine away for what would be nice and what I wish I had, or I could just deal with what I really have available to me right now and use the software that is there. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pay for the upgraded version so I can do more with it. Instead of waiting around hoping that the kids are going to eventually want to help. Again, not a knock against the kids. They're doing exactly what they should be doing right now. They're preoccupied in themselves and growing up to be who they're going to be, etc., etc., etc. That's exactly what they should be doing right now. But instead of sitting around waiting and hoping for something else or a different result, I'm just going to do what I need to do to get what I need done right now. Okay, lighten all of those. What you can't probably see on screen, I'm going to the the correct line width tool, and I'm going to narrow, and I'm going to narrow all these lines on the stuff in the background. Because I don't want some of this to be as dark as it is, because once it's been enlarged up, it suddenly gets really thick. And now I'm going to come back and thicken a few of them. All right, now I'm going to turn that off for a second. I'm going to turn off, because that's on a separate layer because I copied and pasted it. And now I'm going to come in and select all of this blank area up here, turn that layer back on, and then right click on it, on that layer, go to layer mask and mask outside selection, and then it cuts off everything else that's out of the way. And all right, there we go. That's got the background finished on that. Lickety split, baby. Now I got old Harley choking out the bad dudes that came in to attack Suburbia. Because you gotta get them bad guys trying to attack Suburbia. Let's see. Sarah says, really is a crap job in their defense. If I get my hyper focus on, I can do a whole lot of video stuff in one shot, but that's pretty unpredictable. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, I could sit down and take a day and focus just on doing videos, and I could get 15 or 20 like short videos made out of one long video, but that takes me a whole day to do that. And I do two of these art streams a week. I can't afford to spend 2 days a week editing those down into short clips. I just can't afford to do that. And I could get other stuff done in that time too. I could do some other clips, and I might record a couple of, TikTok videos. But like, if I was just going to focus on filming TikTok videos, I can sit down for one day and do 20 or 30 TikTok videos and be covered for the next couple of weeks for content. And that's a whole lot better use of that one day than spending one day to cut down one of my art streams into a selection of short videos. So I'm really liking the AI idea right now. Like, I'd rather be paying somebody to do it, but like, I can't afford to pay an outside person, you know, $30 an hour to edit it. And my kids, who are actually pretty good at this stuff, just aren't really interested right now and have other stuff to do. Like, my daughter has, you know, almost a full time job. It's not quite full time yet, but man, she's flat putting in the hours. Like, she just now got home, and she had to go in and work at 3 in the morning because now she's like unloading at work. Come on. You're just gonna sit there and be difficult, aren't you? Acting like a Kyron over here, being difficult for no reason. Uh, PJ says it amazes me how far video editing software has come. I remember 20 years ago how much time it took to get simple things done. Oh man, and now you can just click a button and have all these special effects going, and you can use After Effects and stuff. Man, if we had had After Effects available when I got out of college, I would be making my money full time doing like superhero videos on YouTube right now. But it just wasn't a thing that was available. And once it did come out, it was so ungodly expensive, for a one income household, three kids, you couldn't do it. Katie says, I sat in the road with a cow in front of me on the road. I have no idea where I should be, but not in the middle of the road on its own. I'm sorry, Katie. But it gives you time to respond to the video, and that's what really matters. That's why God put that cow there. He was like, you know what? Katie hasn't commented in a while, and Fish's delicate little feelings can't handle it. So we need her to stop real quick and make some comments. So I appreciate that. Thank you for being obedient to the Lord's will. All right. Now we get to draw Harley on a Harley beating up all the bad boys. Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come by you? That's the official theme song. Don't you forget it. Oh, I'm on a masked layer. That's why I'm not making any lines. I will admit, I love so many things about this toy line that I'm doing these comic strips for, except for these bad guys' helmets. And it's not that the bad guys, these, bad soldier army dudes, don't look cool in their funky helmets. It's just such a pain to draw. And figuring out all the complicated geometry of having this, army helmet, Darth Vader looking design with the little flare, but also these goggles have to fit over it. And there's the gas mask portion, and this is for an actual like toy line. So they want you to be as accurate as possible to the toys, which I want to do. Man, that is a lot of moving parts to try and hit the target for. Boy, I can hear my daughter in there rattling. She is just got home from a long day at work, and she is info dumping on her mom. Which is funny. That's mom's favorite part of the day is when Des just info dumps everything on her. And she hears about all the details of everything. And mom is like remembering all these coworkers' names that you've never seen and stuff. Like, I can't do that. I can remember a couple of them, but I can't remember all of them. If I don't have something to stick with it, like even on here, like before I ever had a video chat with PJ, at least I had an icon to look at to associate with him and remember, like, oh yeah, PJ's the little dude with the little purple background. Yeah, that's who he is. It's like I had something to associate with it, but you know, the only coworker she has that I remember the name of is Barbie because her name's Barbie. I probably should be looking at reference right here because I don't think I'm getting this detail correct. This isn't something I can really phone in. Because again, it's for an actual action figure. I'm not just making up these things. Like people are going to be holding these figures. So I really need to pull up the references for that. Well, you know what? I've been going for an hour and my daughter's home and we've got some errands to run and I've got to take a bunch of packages from my TikTok shop to the post office, and I promise I'll take my wife out to lunch. So I'm going to go ahead and break here because we're at a nice hour point. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much for catching up, Katie. Kyron, I am sorry I couldn't last long enough for you to get in here. Watch him show up in the last minute or two. I've seriously been thinking about rescheduling the show to a different time because this morning time is when Kyron has to take his kids to school. And honestly, like afternoons would be better for me anyway. But thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, PJ, for everything you do. Thank you, Katie, for tuning in. Thank you, Sarah, for hanging out. I hope the vertical format was, acceptable. I kind of dig it. I like this layout better than being a tiny bit in the corner that's blocking some of the layers. Of course, you can't really see the layers here either. So I don't know. But anyway, thank y'all for hanging out. I appreciate it. I will see y'all later. And peace out.
Hello, everybody. It is your Uncle Fish back again for School of Fish Art Stream. J-Man wants a Gatling gun on the end of his tail. Oh my goodness. J-Man says the tail's where you put all the heavy artillery. Yeah. He said he used to have a howitzer on the end of his tail.